Hello and welcome to Album Club. I'm Dan Stubbs.
I'm Tom Smith.
And we're going to be talking about two albums that are out today and one classic album, as ever. And there's a sort of a thematic thing I would say this week. It's art pop.
Big
it's art pop week.
And it's multicoloured week. It's very vibrant. It's
the
vibrant album club you've been waiting for.
And I would say it's a good week for new albums. We've hit the sweet spot of the year now when you get like a rush of really great albums that come out before Christmas.
Q4, isn't it?
You know the business terms. So the first one we're going to be talking about is, and there's another link, which is the two of these albums, or 12th albums by the particular artist.
How about that?
The first of those is the first one we're going to talk about, and it is Beck with Colours.
When you crack the rhythm and words all make you cold. When they break it down, then this world is all you know.
Beck, Colours.
Hey.
You reviewed it in this magazine.
I did.
Magazine.
In this very magazine. I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5. It's like you said, it's his 12th album. There it is in this week's magazine. You can get it for free. Yeah, I really like it. You know, you have to. The thing with this album, a lot of it's about the context. So his last album, Morning Phase, he was very sad. He'd really hurt his back, so he was very limited in what he could do musically. So he spent a lot of time sitting down writing these acoustic-y ballads. This one, like he says, that his back is so much better. He feels, you know, very well, very healthy, and he's able to do like, you know, these fun live shows. And as a result, he's made a really fun pop, colourful album, and you know, hence the title Colours.
So his back is directly related to him. Shaking his groove thing.
He said it was liberating, and like you can totally feel that. There's actually a song in there called "I'm So Free," who literally says "I'm so free." Whether that's just because of his back or...
And this fella's kind of like, he's had a bit of a good run of it after the sort of back thing, obviously. He put the song out, Dreams, which was a big hit in America. He even did like a guest sort of Taylor Swift show performing that song. So it was like a real crossover hit, which you wouldn't necessarily expect for someone at his point in his career. So he's kind of been on the upswing. Put the thing like Wow last year, which was that last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, so it's been a long time in the making, this one. And those songs are both on this album.
Yeah.
Dreams is sort of on there twice. Right?
Yeah, Dreams has got a fancy new mix. Like, only if you've listened to the first one a lot will you notice a difference. It sounds nicer. I mean, that's Greg Kurstin. Greg Kurstin's produced the record. He's done like Adele and Sia. He also used to be a part of Beck's band as well. He used to be the keyboardist, but now he also was on the Liam album as well, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so he's like, that's going to be #1 today, isn't it, the Liam album? So
totally.
So he's kind of, he's last week did the Liam album, which is #1. This one that's do very well too.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of like, Beck is one of these, you know, another thematic link here. There's many clues here for who the classic artist is. But he's a person who has worn a lot of different hats, quite literally and also metaphorically. He's done all sorts of different stuff: country music, kind of acoustic stuff, garage rock, disco, funk. But this is kind of Beck doing Beck, isn't it? It's like this is Beck doing a Beck album in the sort of Odelay Night Moves type. Night Moves?
Midnight Vulture.
Midnight Vulture's what I call it, Night Moves. Wow.
But it is, like you say, it is a classic pop Beck album, but it is a little bit different compared to like those ones you mentioned. Those ones sort of have a little bit of, you know, his own, you know, sort of slacker personality. And this one is very straight up and very honest. That is a very mainstream ready album. There's big choruses, like he knows exactly what he wants from it. It's like 40 minutes, 11 tracks. You can just, you know, it's so much fun. You can just breeze all the way through it. But it's totally ready, like, to be used on adverts and for him to, you know, be on soundtracks and him to go and play these really fun world tour shows, which I imagine he will do. And like you saw him last night.
I did see him last night. Yeah.
He played in London. He played like a small show.
Yeah, the Electric Ballroom. Yeah.
Did he play much of the new album from that?
No, only a couple of tracks, but he's been kind of playing a real sort of hit set, kind of crowd pleasing. Yeah, he seems like he's happy Beck. A happy Beck is a funky Beck, and this is the result. What's
your favourite Beck? Like, obviously there's so many different, you know, hip hop Beck. Which your favourite one?
Probably for me it's Odelay, possibly, or what was the Mutations, which was the sort of like 90s sad one that he did.
The slacker sort of sad acoustic
kind of a bit country, and then it had that weird kind of Latin song, Tropical, on it. What about you?
I'd say either the pop version or like when he does a rocky one, like the Guero, his like 2005 album, that was like really heavy in places, you know, song E-Pro and that kind of stuff. And Yeah, I think that one of those two, probably the pop one. It's just fun, isn't it?
So you've already had your say on
I have.
how many stars you've had. Normally I would come up with a pun based on the album cover, but we don't have it here. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to concur with you, as I always do with people, and say 4 stars. Well done, Mr. Beck. So next up, it's another on the art pop, more art poppy than Beck has ever been, perhaps. Yeah. This is the new album from St. Vincent, which is Masseduction.
I have lost a hero, I have lost a friend, but for you died.
So tell us about St. Vincent then.
So St. Vincent, this is her 5th studio album. She's done stuff with like David Bowie before, but art pop from New York, Annie Clark. The last one was sort of her big sort of break into the mainstream.
Yeah, that was our album of the year, I think.
Yeah, 2013, 14?
Ooh, but,
a few years ago.
Time, yeah.
But yeah, it was her big sort of introduction into sort of mainstream consciousness. And so this one sort of follows on from that a little bit, but then there is totally new things on there. So yeah, it's weird. It's a weird album. The cover's weird, it hurts my eyes, it's bright orange. But I quite enjoyed it. It's you have to listen to it a few times to really get into it and find all the little bits spread across, like, 'cause it's quite long, it's like 13, 14 tracks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's quite funky, isn't it? It's quite sort of Prince influenced, it feels.
Yeah, totally.
People are saying it's kind of her going for kind of going for a pop album, but
yeah.
But in her way, being in that kind of like, this is not kind of Taylor Swift, is it?
Yeah, no, it's sort of like a very postmodern-y kind of thing. Her live shows at the moment are really cool because it's basically just her. She's in front of a whole a screen with no band. The band are behind it, but she's made all these custom videos with like these really surreal sort of images from like the videos as well. Like the album's cover is just like a doll, and there's like legs everywhere and that kind of stuff. So live shows similar to that, and it's got a very live vibe on certain bits of the album. But like for me, it's a little bit weirder than her last album, and like there's a lot of ballads on this one, surprisingly. Like Pills is sort of a weird kind of starts off a ballad, goes a bit weird. New York is a big piano ballad, and it's almost like it's lost its edge a little bit.
Right.
It's not as like it's a bit weird and funk rocky kind of stuff. It's lost that a little bit, which is my favourite bit of her last album. So I
find that I do really like her stuff. I kind of struggle to connect with it emotionally sometimes, and I don't find this one any different. But there's still some great songs, like Los Angeles is on there. It's a good song. And there's some great stuff in the lyrics as well. You mentioned Pills there, which deals with sort of America's prescription drug culture, and so yeah. I mean, it's another great album. I think it's gonna, I'm sure it will be high up people's end of the year album list and all that kind of stuff. What would you give this one?
I would give it a 3. But I think for the scope and the amount of work and execution, I think it's a 4.
For a horrible second though, I thought I wasn't going to be able to concur with you, but I want to give it a 4. So it's classic album time, for which one Tom is going and another Tom is coming in. So we will welcome Tom Howard to this chair, the Enemy's deputy editor, and but as a passing gift, you can introduce the album. Do you know what it is?
I do.
Yeah.
40 years old today, or this week.
Yeah.
It's David Bowie's Heroes.
Oh, we can be heroes just for one day.
Here he is, Tom Howard. A man who knows so much about David Bowie that your quote about David Bowie was on the wall of the David Bowie's exhibition.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that.
The V&A.
Yeah.
I'll never forget about that because I was burningly jealous.
Yeah, that remains my greatest achievement, including my children.
So, we're doing Heroes. It's 40 years of Heroes.
Yeah.
I'm going to controversially say that Heroes the single is better than Heroes the album.
Yeah.
To start you off.
That's not controversial, is it?
You have quite a lot of notes, I see, on huge paper here. I'm going to hit you with some facts.
Yeah.
Do you think this is part of his Berlin trilogy?
Yes.
Yes, it's the only one recorded in Berlin. Interesting, isn't it?
The only one recorded solely in Berlin.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
What number do you think it went to in the charts, Tom?
3.
A mere 24.
Oh,
Imagine that. Mm.
really? I wrote down it went to number 3. In the UK?
Well, maybe I've got that wrong. Anyway,
Do you mean the
Let's talk
single or the
about
album, Heroes?
the album.
Yeah. The single went to number 12.
Right.
Yeah.
People were wrong about that, I would say.
I'll tell it. Here's
Here's
a fact.
Yeah.
So it was David Bowie's 12th album,
Yeah.
as you alluded to earlier, because it was also Beck's 12th album. How old is Beck, do you know? 47. David Bowie was 30
Yeah.
when he put this album out.
Yeah.
30.
I'd never even had a proper job when I was 30.
It's his 12th album he put out when he was 30. Insanity, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And he was in a bad way before he went to Berlin.
Yeah.
He moved there from Los Angeles excess.
yeah,
It's fair to say he'd enjoyed a few substances.
yeah.
And he thought, I'll go to sort of depressing heroin-addled city to go
Yeah.
recuperate. And in this album, so he was working with Brian Eno, wasn't it? But this is a very Eno album.
Yeah. Well, it's very similar. So obviously, Low is the first album in the Berlin trilogy, and it's got a very similar structure to Low in that the first half has got the songs on it, and then the second half has got the kind of the weird ambient stuff on it.
Yeah.
I was thinking just then as I was re-listening to it, wouldn't it? Imagine if the first half of Low and the first half of Heroes were plonked together. I mean, would that be the greatest David Bowie album of all time? Or do you need the ambience on the second half?
Viewers, try it for yourself. See.
If someone could put that together on YouTube, that'd be really helpful.
Just stick it together in a playlist, couldn't you?
Oh yeah. Good point.
Modern technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not got a lot of things that would ever crop up on a best of Bowie album, has it?
No, I guess not. Well, I mean, it's a funny one because Heroes is obviously. I'd say Heroes is maybe. Is Heroes the only David Bowie song that's like bigger than him, maybe? Because obviously he is a towering influence on all music, British music, whatever. And he's so big that like a lot of big bands have got songs that become big. Like Smells Like Teen Spirit has become bigger than Nirvana, right? Maybe Seven Nation Army is bigger than the White Stripes, maybe, you know.
Because of the Corbyn thing now, yeah.
Because of the Corbyn thing, right? Yeah. But exactly. So a lot of people probably sing that and have no idea it's even by the White Stripes, right? It's bigger than the band. Heroes.
But they're rinsing the royalties. So it's absolutely fine.
They're having a lovely time. Yeah, I doubt they mind. But Jack White might mind actually. Anyway, Heroes I think is the only David Bowie song that is bigger than him because it's got so many different sort of cultural importance. Like it was obviously heavily linked to the Berlin Wall coming down because he did this kind of performance at the German Reichstag in 1987, and when he died, why are you laughing? Because I had to check that.
No, just like the way you say Reichstag.
Yeah, how do you say it?
Just like that. It's the Parliament building, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He performed in Parliament.
No, I guess it was a gig outside it.
Right, okay.
Yeah, there's a kind of like, but and then when he died, when Bowie died in 2000 thing,
16.
the German government thanked him for his influence in helping bring down the Berlin Wall and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously Heroes was a big song for the London Olympics in 2012 and all that kind of stuff. You know, so it's one of those songs that just endures forever and ever.
And it's good, isn't it? Because people sing along to it, even though it's like it's good. The lyrics are really quite weird. It's about I wish we would like dolphins and all this kind of stuff. It's quite out there for a stadium sing along.
Totally. And what I love about Heroes the album is that people who hear that song will go listen to the album and then they'll be confronted by all of this totally weird.
Welcome to the weird Bowie world.
Yeah, definitely. And it's got like the second half of it. It's got loads of really really weird stuff. There's lots of saxophone on this album, which is really cool. A lot of it played by Bowie himself, which is good. And apparently it was very. A lot of the saxophone he did, there's a lot of very improvised stuff on the album. Like his vocals were improvised, his lyrics were improvised, and the saxophone. There's a lot of wrong notes on there that he just kept in because he kind of loved the sort of wildness and the chaos. There's a lot of songs that sound like sort of soundtrack music, like Sense of Doubt is the one with the 4 really low piano notes, and it's just that, and then like just kind of weird synthesizers going through it. There's no lyrics, and at the end, as it drifts into Moss Garden, all you can hear is wind. So it's just kind of it's very it's not hits,
No.
not hits.
No.
Yeah. But then, and he plays a lot on Moss Garden. He plays a koto, which is a kind of Japanese string instrument. So he's being very experimental. And another thing that's great about this album is it came out in 1977. It was Enemy's album of the year.
Melody Makers, apparently, yeah.
It came out 2 weeks before Nevermind the Bollocks by the Sex Pistols, and it came out a few months before the Clash's debut album. So as punk was becoming a thing, David Bowie was just off on his own, doing his own thing, just making this kind of these mad masterpieces that would, well, I mean, he's defined by so many different things, but I don't know, Bowie aficionados tend to think the Berlin Trilogy is really, you know, when he was really working loads with Brian Eno and all that kind of stuff, is, you know, his greatest triumphs, especially because it's not poppy. I think that's why, apart from Heroes.
But I think this is the third best of the trilogy.
Really?
Which is a nice way of saying it's the worst one.
Yeah.
Lodger is the best, probably, then Low. Maybe not.
Yeah,
then this one is like a notch below, I would say, for me. But, you know.
Yeah, Low is my favourite, I think, because it, I don't know, the song, I think, apart from Heroes, the songs on Low are maybe a bit better.
Yeah.
But they got Robert Fripp in for this one, the guy from King Crimson.
Yeah.
Do you like King Crimson, Dan?
Nah.
Me neither. But apparently he just came in and they just played him all the songs, and he'd never heard them, and he just did guitar solos over them. Just was kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, man, yeah, and they just stuck it all on, and it gives it this. Just contributes to the wild sound of the whole thing.
And of course, it's got that really iconic cover, which was then used to get sort of recycled for the next day. I think.
Which he referenced by sticking a white block on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaningful. So, that is Heroes. How many...
Hold on, let me just see if I've got any more brilliant things to say about it, because I probably do. I wrote down loads. Oh yeah.
You've written down, just plunked a white box on it.
And I said it as well, didn't I? Yeah.
Sounds like it's scripted.
What was I going to say? Oh, I just forgot. Oh yeah, all right, so here's some more information. So V2 Schneider, that was a tribute to the guy who founded Kraftwerk.
Right.
And you can really hear that in it. It's so Kraftwerky, like in the background, but obviously, you know, he kind of does his Bowie thing. But oh yeah, what I was going to say about the vocals. So once upon a time, I interviewed a spider from Mars. This was a long time ago. He was on the Ziggy Stardust bar, and he was talking about how Bowie, when he was doing his vocal, he's like, David Bowie is not a brilliant singer. Like, he's not technically a brilliant singer. He's not, you know, he's not like Pavarotti or whatever. But as a vocalist, he will just go in there and he'll just do it, and he's so confident in the way he delivers his bits, his vocal bits, that you know, he just goes in there, he knows what he wants, he does it, and he's out of there, and it's easy, and you can totally hear that. Oh, another brilliant thing about this album is that Sons of the Silent Age, right, is it's the song that almost all Bowie impressions are like stolen from.
I'm back in,
because he sounds so amazingly just
a Bowie.
Just that. You know the famous, you know, Adam Buxton, he does that. Yeah, it's that. You know, yeah. He doesn't say those.
You lost me momentarily there, because this was really dragging, but then I'm back in with the impression.
Yeah. So anyway, that song's really funny, because every David Bowie impression you've ever heard, that song sounds like it.
Well, on that note, let's give it a score. How many Wuzza Wuzzas out of 5 Wuzza Wuzzas are you going to give it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't not give it 5, can you?
I'm going to give it 4.
You're mad. You're mad, Stubbsy baby.
I love Bowie, but it's just not. It's never been one of my favourites.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a Bowie for everyone. There's a Beck for everyone.
And it is, of course, differences in opinion that contribute to the rich tapestry that is life.
Oh, just that. And on that unifying note, we'll say goodbye on this week's Album Club. Please do join us again next week. 3 more albums to discuss. 2 new, 1 classic. All the fun of the fair. See you then.
Bye-bye.